What's up, what's up, what's up, everyone? Check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube. And we're doing Fantastic Four issue 15. Yes, it's the Mad Thinker and his awesome android. What is this awesome android? It's neither animal, mineral, or vegetable. But we'll soon find out, won't we? So let's rock and roll. Now, the Mad Thinker is basically a character who thinks about every possibility, kind of works out every situation, even every random situation where he thinks so much about it, it even looks like he's predicting the future. But what he's doing is working out angle after angle after angle after angle. And plus, he's a super genius that can invent stuff, so that's basically the itinerary on him. So let's get it going. The Fantastic Four, Reed fires off his flare. Of course, Fantastic Four are living their own lives. Johnny's driving around, and he kind of blows out of his girlfriend's car and leaves her to drive it. Sue's getting her hair done, and things being harassed by the Yancey street gang. Those boys do give him a hard time. And while they're throwing trash at him and stuff, he gets summoned, so he wasn't really leaving anything that important. And the Fantastic Four are summoned. And Reed goes on to say that he's experimenting with matter, life, bringing things to life, a combination of different things. And this Mad Thinker, what he has is a bunch of mob boys, and what he's been doing for them is predicting how to rip off banks by using seemingly random events or just thinking everything down meticulously, right down to the last thing, in order for them to make money. And he's telling them now that they want to take over New York. This is his basic plan: declare himself king. And the mob guys are basically telling him there's a new element called the Fantastic Four, this new group, they'll beat you up. They have a guy, that does fire, strength, visibility, and he directs them to his computer. And this is what a giant computer looked like in the 60s. And this computer is able to predict probabilities. They're able to get $1 million for some random event of some guy moving a hot dog truck in front of the security. Different things like that. Like I said, he thinks of every possibility. And he's beginning to work out a plan in order to disband the Fantastic Four without them knowing. And this seems to happen a lot. The idea of them splitting up. So he kind of brings in Johnny's cousin, and Reed gets an offer for a lab, and Thing gets an offer to wrestle. Beat people up for a living, make some money, get a little fame, recognition. Instead of people calling him a horrible monster all the time, it'd be nice if someone cheered for him for a change. And, of course, Miss Visible Woman, she gets offered a movie role, stuff like that. And they're basically just trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're at Allison's place, I believe, right now. Human Torch is messing around. Of course, the Thing and him get into another fight. And this seems pretty common, Torch and Thing always going at it. And this is where they kind of decide to go their separate ways for money, fame. Like, all these are real lucrative jobs. The Thinker actually made them offers they couldn't refuse, tailor-made to their personalities. That's why they call this guy the Thinker. And now he's worked out these calculations where this meteor is going to hit the Earth, and it's going to make like an earthquake. And what it's going to do is it's going to temporarily knock the power off. And it's going to knock the power off in a very specific building, the Baxter Building. So they sneak in, since the alarms are knocked out, and he's able to read and take all of Reed's research and take it for himself. And while the Human Torch is off amusing himself, kind of working at the carnival, showing off, having people cheer for him, he's beginning to realize he kind of misses his family. And Sue and everyone else is basically, realizing the same thing. They have everything they want except the family, except each other. What makes them the group. And they begin to kind of just like, eh. And so after Thing, royally beats up this one dude. You gotta love Ben Grimm for that. They kind of unite, they kind of form together, but it's a little too late since the Baxter Building has turned into pure crystal. That's right. The Baxter Building has gone Zells. Pure diamond, y'all. And they're trying to work their way into it. Thing's trying to dig his way down. And the Thinker himself appears in the crystal and explains, he basically does his superhero or supervillain rant. It's me. You're going to match wits with me. I'm here to destroy you. I'm taking all your technology. It's mine now. Everything you own belongs to the Thinker. Torch tries to blow a door open, but the door opens anyways, and these mob guys fire this vibrating gun, sort of, and it weakens their powers some way or some form, except for the Thing, who's able to just use his strength and rip down the steel. Now they fire this gas, and the Thinker's gas kind of disorients you. It kind of gives you like a little bit of a psychedelic trip. So Reed tells Thing to twist him around and twist him around and twist him around and then let him go, and he fans all the bad gas out. Now here comes one of the coolest things, the awesome android. This android has a bunch of different powers later on, but right now it seems to adapt to things. It uses his breath to put out the Human Torch. It goes one-on-one with the Thing, adapting to his powers, but it's partially built by Reed, so Reed kind of knows where an off button is. So Reed stretches out with his powers, and he holds him down while Sue pushes the off button and turns it off. As the Thinker, they kind of walk in on the Thinker, but he's already had his masterpiece prepared, his big weapon, in which the Human Torch just fries. I mean, in the middle of his speech, he just fries it. Whoosh. And a very interesting thing happened because the weapon wouldn't fire because the power went off. Reed had hotwired all the power to go through the elevator, and then had his doorman push it, shorten out the power, and then shorten out the device that the Mad Thinker had, which proves no matter how much you plan something, there's always an X factor. There's always something to consider. And Reed just simply outsmarted him. And but will he the next time? We'll find out, and I'll catch you on the flip side.